Hey guys, Darth Loric here, back with part 2 of my Divinity Original Sin playthrough. So last time, we created our characters, and we started our quest, and we headed into the country. I think it's a country, or is it the capital? We're in Cyseal. I don't know if that's a country or a capital, but it's certainly one of the two. And, or something. And the point is we're there. There's lots of mysteries afoot. There's source, and there's magic flowing around. There's undead, there's necromancers, and there's some creepy cult or something. We saw some creepy people taking off with something called a bloodstone. There's also been a murder. So there's lots of craziness and mystery afoot. And so we're looking around. Now, at the last maybe half, maybe less, probably less, of the episode, for the last little section of the episode, we managed to get inside the actual city itself. Whether that's Cyseal as a country or Cyseal is the name of the city, I don't know. I almost think Cyseal is the name of the city, not the country. Regardless, we're here. And at the very end of it, we did manage to recruit a couple of companions. We have Bear Daughter, that's the blonde, and then we have Wolgraf, the bearded bald guy. So that's him. So those are the companions we're rocking with. Obviously, our main dynamic duo is Scarlet. She's our spellcaster, obviously, and she's doing great. And then we have Gloric, our frontline warrior, and his job will be very important because he's gonna have to just do everything. I mean, the weight of the world is on his shoulders, so we have to make him as tanky as we possibly can. And then Bear Daughter is the archer. Currently has a bow. She has accuracy problems. So far, it hasn't reared its ugly head yet, but give it time. I feel like I went through long sections of the game where Bear Daughter couldn't hit anything. So, we'll be boosting her accuracy as much as we can. And then we have Wolgraf. We haven't used him in battle yet, but Wolgraf is sneaky, and he's our sneak around character. But yeah, at the very last of the episode, we worked on grabbing the companions we wanted right away. But otherwise, we did not look around too heavily. We did a couple of random things, like we helped a fish merchant not get their fish stolen, and we did things like that. But otherwise, we did not look around overly heavily. So to backtrack just a little bit of where we were, so down there is the docks, and down there we did see everything there is to see, pretty much. But then once we hit the fountain, we were going pretty much making a beeline for the things we really, really wanted. Now, while we were in town, we did buy the rain spell off of one of the merchants, because rain, as you saw last episode, is incredibly convenient. Having water on command is very helpful. It's just super, super helpful. It obviously puts out fire, and it's very, very convenient. And in battle, it has some light usage, but mostly just as a utility spell to clear fire, it's incredibly convenient. And in battle, even if you are just clearing fire, that's convenient too. Sometimes you need to put the battlefield out so that your own people can cross it, even in the middle of battle. So it's just a great spell to have, and we learned it. We bought it and learned it last episode. Super worth it. Otherwise, nothing too intensive going on there, and I think all the rest of these peons' abilities are normal. Yeah. So, we didn't fix his bar yet. So this is Lacerate. Let's get rid of that, and then let's put Lacerate right there, just to make it more flush. So his abilities, walk in shadows, so that makes him invisible, I'm pretty sure, so that allows him to creep around. Then we have Cloaking Dagger, which is a teleport. That's great because he's very squishy, and so him dying is a high possibility if you're not careful. I've used him once before, and he died. So it wasn't super hard to keep him alive, but you just had to remember what he was, and then it wasn't that bad. Just make sure. Remember, he's like a rogue. He's a rogue, so be careful. Anyway, really quick, I'm drinking a Rockstar because it's late at night, and so if you wonder what I'm sipping on, that's it. Third ability is Fast Track, become hastened for a short while. That'll allow him to move farther. It's convenient when you're trying to cross large distances, quickly. So that's obviously convenient. So Hastened boosts the target's maximum AP by 3, starting AP by 3, and recovery AP by 2. Hasten also improves movement speed. So, as you can see, like I said. And then Lacerate, which is just a regular damage ability, inflicts bleeding, does, whatever, that 38 to 62 slashing damage. But it 90% chance to set bleeding status for 3 turns, so that's good. And, yeah, so, it's good stuff. So it does require daggers, but that's what he'll be using otherwise, so that's fine. So it deals damage over time, so, it's exactly as you would assume. Yeah, and that's otherwise the show. So now we can actually take our time a little bit more and look around, because now we have the companions we're at least carrying, at least for now. So now we can actually look around with a little more, a little more gently. Apparently also the general store closed indefinitely. Squatters Keep Out. Oh, I didn't realize it was a general store, to be honest with you. I knew it was an abandoned building, but I didn't know it was a general store. At some point, we're going to need to get in there, but I don't totally remember how to do it. But I do remember struggling a long time trying to get inside. None of this matters at this particular moment. I'm just curious.
I've spotted something.
What? Where? Oh, was it inside? Yeah, it's inside, I think. I think she spotted, like, a trap door or something in there. Which, of course, means nothing to us at this particular moment. Yeah. Obviously, that doesn't matter right now. Okay. So, nothing too incredible there. Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm, like, really excited about this game. Like, you don't always know...
Good luck out there, Hunter.
I'd prefer
Evil
to
lurks
drown my
beyond
sorrows
Cyseal's
with ale.
ramparts.
Gentlemen, please, one at a time. Also, we're not leaving town, sorry.
I'm overheating here.
Relax, everyone calm down. Anyway, so I am actually really excited about this playthrough, because that's the thing about doing, like, playthroughs like I do, is you don't always know what's gonna stick, Like, sometimes in my head I'll think, yeah, man, this sounds fun. Like, like insert game, whatever, pick one. And I'll be like, yeah, that sounds good, or whatever. And then I'll start it, and I'll be like, you know what, like, not feeling it. Like, it's a good game, I do want to play it, but it's not right. And so sometimes playthroughs get started, and then you have to abandon it, because it's just not right. You're not feeling it. And so it's not always a surefire thing on what you want to do. Now most of the time I'm pretty good about picking a game and then playing it all the way through, and that's just the end of it. But that doesn't always happen. So now here's this. Now we can teleport to the Waypoint Shrine, which is awesome. We will end up using that, at least at some point. Anyway, and so yeah, you don't always know what's gonna stick, and so sometimes I'll put up a part, and even by part 2, and part 1 is up on the channel already, and I'll be like, oh man, I'm not feeling this, Now sometimes it's hard to always figure out, but sometimes the strategy is pushed through, because the interest will come back up and around, and then you'll play it and you'll have fun. And other times it's a sign of, don't force a playthrough that you're not feeling, but, back off, it's not worth it. Save it for when you can genuinely enjoy it, And you don't always know what's gonna happen. So, but I am really excited about even the games that we're currently playing. Really excited about this, Divinity. I do think this is the best shot I will have of actually playing and finishing this game. Is using my channel as an outlet to get it completed. And I'm really excited about Twilight Princess. I'm just having a lot of fun with the playthroughs we're currently doing, so that feels good that we chose well so far. Because you don't always know. Alright, so we're in the graveyard. Don't just start digging aimlessly, because people get upset. I mean, they can get upset, and sometimes whatever's in there should stay in there.
Where are you, Jake? Hey, wow! I was wondering where that awesome sweaty boot smell was coming from, and here you are! Wow! This is great!
I have known dogs that surely, if they could talk, that's what they would sound like, so that doesn't even feel like a stretch.
I'm Murphy, Jake's dog. Wow, you smell great! Have you been rolling around on dead things all day? That's my favourite hobby too.
So a couple things to remember. Firstly, Scarlet has the Pet Pal perk. There's some sweet alliteration for you. And so that obviously allows her to talk to animals. Now, I don't think anyone else does, or at least I know Gloric does, and I don't know about the other two, but Gloric doesn't have it. So if we didn't have this perk, we could not talk to him. And And it is convenient, because he does have some use later. Anyway, tell me about yourself, boy.
You know who I miss? Jake. Sometimes he'd just sit there being awesome. And I'd give him this look like, you smell great. And he'd give me this look like, you do too, Murphy. And he was my best friend.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was gonna say. Jake is the guy that was murdered. He was a counselor. I don't know exactly what seat of government that is in this world, but he was Counselor Jake, and he was murdered. And we're trying to figure out who done it. And so this is his dog, apparently, and I imagine whatever grave he's rolling around on must be Jake's grave.
I came here so I could smell Jake again. He smelled great. But whatever's buried there doesn't smell like Jake at all. No, it's definitely not Jake. He was awesome.
About your master's death, boy.
If I ever find out who killed Jake, the most awesome Jake who ever jaked, I'll bark so much. Seriously, so much. You have no idea.
Also true of a lot of dogs I've known. He's like, I'll just bark a lot at him. I'm like, yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Here lies David, who ran from the Reaper. You'll never catch me alive.
Clearly not.
Here lies Jake.
Ah, there it is.
Please do not disturb.
Where are you?
Wait till you guys see what I'm about to uncover. I have a shovel, obviously. You're like, a coffin, that makes sense.
What trickery is this?
You want to know what doesn't make sense?
It's a rotting sheep's corpse.
Yeah.
It seems someone snatched Jake's body.
Where are you, Jake?
Yeah.
Are you freaking out, mate?
Isn't that interesting? There's a sheep's corpse inside Jake's coffin.
Wow, that dead sheep smells pretty great. I mean, wow. But it's nothing compared to Jake. Seems like some mutt is marking my territory.
This isn't your master, boy.
Someone stole Jake? Jake stole my ball once, but then he threw it far, and I went and I got it. And Jake was awesome. Listen, if you go around town and find someone who you think might have done it, bring me a really stinky something of theirs. And I'll see if I can smell Jake on it. An awesome smell. I couldn't mistake it.
Beautiful. Okay, so now, that was obviously super useful. So obviously, fun fact, as you'll notice, so all of your quests are put together, completed or not. When you can hit Y, and then it'll take out the stuff that's done. So I guess, and I didn't remember, I couldn't remember if it did or not, but apparently when you leave the game, close the Xbox, whatever, you come back, and then whenever that is, and apparently they all show up again. So anyway, but the point is now, Jake's faithful dog is willing and able to help us find his master's murderer. Should we find any particularly odorous items belonging to any suspects, he'll be able to tell whether or not they've been in contact with Jake recently. So that can be useful. It's another good avenue to help us figure out, who done it. So there's a lot of graves here. It's not wise to go digging around willy-nilly. One of them has a quest, like a dead guy jumps out and he riddles you. He gives you riddles, but he gives you a book to answer the riddles, I think, or something, or you find the book later. I don't know. It's something like that, but I don't remember which one it is. And it's not. And one of them contain, or at least one of them contains something that fights you too. So, but I don't remember, obviously.
Peace be with you, traveler. May your lost loved ones rest in peace.
Tell me about yourself. This is obviously a good time for you to be chatting with me.
I once lived a prosperous life with my husband and our happy little daughter, Loney. But when the undead plague broke out, my dear husband was among the first killed. Loney never recovered from the loss. And when a group of mercenaries, predators, more aptly called, came to town dangling the opportunity to annihilate those undead devils, Loney lapped up their rhetoric and joined without so much as a backward glance. She was killed less than a week after she joined. Here she lies, and here I stand, mourning the death of my last joy.
Yikes. Sad face, dude. I'm trying to remember which one it is.
Here lies Nemris, master of philosophy.
I think this is the one. Well, here goes nothing. Is this the one? Alright, there we go. That's a dead guy. Is it the one that attacks you or a different one? I think that's the right guy.
Look here, even a sage and author as renowned as I is flattered when mortals dare among the dead to seek him out. Well, here I am, Nemeris the Wise. You may go wide-eyed with amazement now.
You're an author?
Oh, I've written so many celebrated treatises, but of course you have read and revered the philosophy of death, the diamond in the crown that is my literary legacy. There isn't a civilized soul alive that hasn't perused its profound pages percolating with perspicacity. Alas, that so few show an understanding of my words, so few show the expected intellectual growth when I put them to the test.
Can I read your philosophy of death?
You can, and indeed you must. But alas, I was not buried with a printed version of that blueprint of genius that is my inimitably esteemed essay. Never fear, though, for each and every library in Revellon boasts a copy, the gilded cherry on their paper pie.
Got it. Philosopher. We met the ghost of Nemeris, a famous philosopher who wants to challenge someone who has read his works. So keep our eyes peeled for a book. And he said library, and I think the mayor had a big old library, I think. Something like that. Also, I just got an email from YouTube that apparently they age restricted a video of mine. I don't know which one. Maybe is it Divinity? I don't know why you'd bother. Which one? Oh. Okay, so here's the thing. So, for some reason, YouTube has decided that right now is just the perfect time to go back through my super, super old uploads way before I was doing playthroughs on YouTube. And back in the day, I used to do slideshows, and I would get pictures and I'd get music and I'd put them together, and it was fine. These days, that would be like the easiest video in the world, right? Because it's just pictures to slideshows. I didn't know anything about editing. My computer was crap. Modernly that would be so easy. But but back in the day, it's what I used to do. And because I was just interested in the concept of YouTube, and I didn't know anything about anything and whatever. Now, the thing is, YouTube has decided that right now is, I'm just glancing at the email, making sure they didn't, get rid of it or whatever, and they didn't. They just, it's whatever. It's age restricted, it's 18, whatever. It's adult content only. I don't care about that. It's so old. It's not like it's not anything currently. So anyway, the point is that I used to do slideshows. So back in the day, it was before YouTube had any kind of age restriction, as far as I know, I think. I believe something like that to be true. Ish, maybe. Anyway, and so I made at some point, I made some Yuri slideshows or 18 plus type of things where obviously it was a little bit NSFW, right? And nothing super risque, because you can't put up even YouTube has limits, right? Even back in the day they had limits, right? So, and so it's not like I was putting up porn or anything, but the point is, it is a little bit risque, right? It's a little bit NSFW. And so I not super, obviously, again, it has to be fairly vanilla, but I put up some slideshows, and the one that got age restricted is a Yuri 18 plus slideshow, I guess, to put to the music of I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry, I guess. It means nothing to me. I don't sure, go for it, whatever. Restrict the hell out of it. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. You know what I mean? That's so old. It's not current content. I don't care. Sure, go for it. Knock yourself out. Anyway, but it's just weird to me that, I don't know why YouTube suddenly decided, you know what, now's a good time. It just seems weird because that's not, it's the first one in a while, but a few weeks ago, it felt like over the course of a few days, I just got a whole bunch of emails about them age restricting this one or age restricting that one or whatever, things like that. Or they're like, hey, this is, not monetizable or whatever, you know what I mean? Things like that. I just got a slew of emails of them, and it was all old slideshow stuff. Stuff that I haven't looked at or anything in forever, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just weird, I don't know. But it just seems funny to me that now they're like, yeah, this is something that, this makes sense. It seems odd timing. Which, hey, whatever, go for it, but it means nothing to me now. It's not like they blocked a current video or anything. So, anyway, okay. So, I'm trying to think of what priority. It doesn't really matter about what we do first. Obviously, town square. I just want to improve. Just want to double check. Okay, so that's where is over there. That's where that blockaded building is. Where we passed something. It was the graveyard keeper guy, which we could confront about the sheep's body being inside the casket. It depends. I mean, it depends on what happens. It depends on how well it goes. It might go really well, and we might get what we want out of the guy, but it also might not. I don't know. We also could go to the tavern because there's lots of people to talk to in there. I guess maybe let's go ahead and start with what we were already on, right? Maybe that's a good plan.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
Anyway, yeah, maybe that's a good plan. So let's go ahead and go to the graveyard keeper guy and see if we can get any information out of him. Sorry, I'm all stuffed up as usual. I think I have allergies. I think I figured that out today. I have lots of weird little symptoms that I've had for, I feel like, months. And I think it has been months, maybe 6 months, a year, I don't know. Where suddenly I'm like stuffed up a lot, my eyes are really, really itchy, things like that. You know, my nose is running and things like that. And I'm all all clogged up and coughing all the time, things like that, right? And my sister pointed out, she's like, yeah, that's like allergies. Those are all allergy symptoms. And I was like, man, she's right. They are all allergy symptoms. So I think I have allergies, and I only developed them recently. Previously, never had allergies. Anyway, and so, yeah, you know, that's a thing. So very soon I will look into starting some you know, allergy medication to help me combat it. So that would be nice, because it'd be really nice to have my eyes, like, not, you know, do the whole itching thing and, you know, things like that. Hey, there was a scroll in there. And an arrow? Lucky find. Yeah, sometimes you'll get lucky, you know, you'll find lucky stuff, you know? Like lucky find, where you find a really good item in a weird place that otherwise it probably wouldn't be in there. You know, things like that. Wow, these crates are full of stuff. Anyway, that was interesting. Alright, so grenades go to Gloric, which really, I guess this technically counts as a quote-unquote grenade, so we'll give that to him. And then this is an arrow, send it to Bear Daughter. And I don't remember, if... I don't know what I was going to say. Something. I don't remember what I was going to say. I don't remember what else I was going to say. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I have no idea what I was going to say. Anywho. So, that's what I was going to say. So, I don't remember if there's like a perk that you know, like a stat that you increase. Maybe it's a luck. I almost think luck was something you could increase, like over here somewhere. Let's see here. Wasn't luck something that you could like influence or do something about, or am I just out of my mind? Maybe not. I swore I saw some kind of something. You know, maybe one of these influences, like perception or something, or intelligence, or... I swore I saw something that was like lucky or something. I think I'm just having a stroke. Pickpocketing, lockpicking, sneaking, lore master, crafting, blacksmithing. Oh, there it is. Lucky charm. Yeah, there we go. I'm not crazy. Lucky charm determines your luck in finding extra treasure and improving your offense rating. So we have a +1 in that, but only from some gear that we're wearing. But yeah, so yeah, lucky charm. So this is what determines that. It increases, I guess, determines your luck in finding extra. So I don't know if you need a 1 to even have any chance, or if you always have a little bit of a chance, and it gets better with lucky charm. So really, that's not a bad thing to just dump a perk in. If you don't have anything better to go with, like, that's not a bad one. I'm a little more concerned about, like, our ability to fight back and all that jazz, you know, but it's something. It's something. Let's see here. So yeah, we need to confront the guy, although I wouldn't mind. Corpse Compendium. Anyway, all these are red because we're going to get in trouble if we start rifling through it and if anyone sees. But we could talk to this guy, but this is one of the times when I think if you really push him, it comes to like a confrontation and you have to win like a dialogue thing. It'll be the first time we've seen it on the channel, so you'll see what I mean if it comes down to that. If you win, it's great, you get resolution. If you don't, then that's just it. You failed and you get locked out and he's just stubborn about it and that's just it. So, you know, kind of weird.
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or have those infernal statues sent another soul flying to his death?
What can you tell me about Jake's murder?
Sad story, that. Though if I'm speaking plainly, the sentimental aspect of it all doesn't make much of an impression on an undertaker. Especially not these days, with so many laid low by the orcs and such like.
That's fair.
I just concern myself with giving the remains a respectable exit from life. We set him to rest in the northern graveyard. Perhaps he can finally get a little peace.
About Jake's body.
A sheep? That's a whole heap of nonsense. Don't bother me with such wild tales.
Alright, so here's the options. The first one is an intimidate option. This one is a charm option, and then we have a reason option. Now, it actually, as far as I know, now again, this is all from my experience. This is not textbook, factual, definitely. The devs confirmed it type of knowledge here. But in my experience, it doesn't seem like it matters which one way or the other. Now, from a dialogue perspective, you know, you might favor an outcome over another, so maybe that's the one you choose. Now, again, to my knowledge, there is perks like, I think Charisma has an effect on it, but you can get boost to this stuff, so you increase your odds. But really, you just, if you do have an increase towards one of them over the other, I believe there is a +1 next to one of these, like Intimidate will say Intimidate +1 or +2 or whatever, things like that. So it helps you know which one you're more likely to win at because of a boost you have. Now, we do have a Charisma, but we do not have a boost. I don't think we have enough of a boost to influence anything. And so, you know. So as far as just on a dialogue perspective, our options are, I'll tell you what, you tell me the truth about the sheep and I won't bother burying you alongside it. Then you have a charm option, which is, I've heard that you're a good man. Now's your chance to help your community. Come clean, and whoever's responsible for taking the body could be brought to justice. Or we have the third one, which is a reason option, which is, look, it's clear I'm only a few steps away from solving this mystery. If you don't tell me the truth, I'll simply find it another way. Why delay the inevitable? So all three of them I feel like super fine options. I'm a little tempted towards like appealing to his better nature, or this one, which is like, you're only gonna slow me down. Like, it's not, I'm still gonna find it, you know what I mean? And just on a funny basis, I am tempted to be like, do it or I'll break your knees, you know what I mean? But, you know, I don't know. I mean, again, we have no boost, so it just depends on which one you like, right? Because our odds are about the same. Maybe appeal to his better nature. All right, maybe that's what we'll do. I've heard that you're a good man. Now's your chance to help your community. Come clean, and whoever's responsible for taking the body could be brought to justice. So this is how this works. Now you have an argument. On the right-hand side, you'll see our little portrait with a 2 next to charm. On the left, you'll see him with a 3. So and all the little dots in the middle. So this is obviously rock, paper, scissors. And it's a complete dice roll as far as I know. I don't think one is more likely than the other. Sometimes you might feel like there's a strategy to it, but then other times it won't work, and I feel like maybe you don't. So really just select one at random, because, you know, who the hell knows? And then, so if I win, then I get 2. My current boost is at 2, so if I win, then I get a +2. So I'll get 2 little notches, and then if he wins, I'll get a +3, and then first one to get to the big circle in the middle wins. And so obviously the odds of us winning this are incredibly unlikely because he has a 3 and we only have a 2, and again, it's all a dice roll anyway, so it probably is unlikely anyway. So really, it doesn't really matter, and see what I mean? So it really doesn't matter, just, you know, just go for it. And then, you know, if he wins, he's just going to lock us out. You know what I mean? Now, again, sometimes if you choose double, you might get a sneaky attack in, and other times it won't work. See? And again, he outpaces us, so we have to win more times for us to win. And, you know, I just don't think it's likely. See? Alright, well, we would have to take him 3 times in a row here. Oh! Yes! I can't believe it! We actually got him! Apparently stay away from rock. Apparently rock gets you killed immediately anyway. We actually won the argument. Can you believe it?
I suppose you're right. A corpse is one thing, but I couldn't stand to have the disappearance of a living soul on my conscience. Come, I'll tell you the whole story. I buried that blasted sheep, but I swear on my lucky left foot I had nothing to do with that body disappearing. 1 minute it was on my slab, you see. I left the room for just a moment to answer the bell in the front parlor, and when I returned, the body was simply gone. In its place was a sack containing more gold coins than I could even count. The message was clear. Silence is golden. My business has been declining right alongside the rest of our blighted city. And that sack of gold was worth more than I made during one of the good years. I needed cash, and someone needed my silence.
Well, at the same time, I don't totally blame him for this because, yeah, it sounds a little sketchy, right? You know, it's like saying he accepted gold to be quiet about it. But at the same time, like, what are you gonna say? Like, what, like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like, but the body just vanished. He didn't see anything. He didn't hear anything. He walked away. He came back. It was gone. Money was in its place. So even if he ran off to the guard, ran off to the Legion, and was like, OMG, the body got stolen. I have a very hard time believing that the Legion could have found anything. Maybe they would have done a whole investigation, but maybe they would have been like, oh my god, you know, you are super guilty of making a body disappear. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't met Captain Aureus yet, but once you meet him, your opinion, I imagine, will match mine a little bit more. So I don't even blame him for this because he didn't see anything. He's not a witness even. It happened to him, but he doesn't know anything. And Captain Aureus is a moron, and you know what I mean? So I have a really hard time believing they would find anything and they would be of any help. And so that's the thing. In my opinion, I don't think it matters because I don't think he could have helped at all. And so yeah, maybe it was just a conscience thing, and maybe he could have, you know, I don't know, maybe he could have said something and just felt better about himself, but I don't think it would have helped anything. Maybe the best in between would have been, I left, the body was there, I came back, and then it was vanished. Maybe just don't mention the gold, you know what I mean? And they're just like, I don't know, someone took the body, because then maybe they could investigate, but if you didn't mention the gold and you hid it away, then they don't have a way of proving that gold wasn't yours, you know what I mean? So maybe there could have been a better in-between there, but at the same time, maybe not, I don't know. So, I don't know, I don't super blame him, because, you know, I don't feel like the investigation isn't going to go anywhere. The Legion is worthless.
I knew I had to bury something or risk being found out. So that night, I stole into the market and made off with Bertia's fattest sheep. It was a bloody waste to stick so much fine meat into the ground to rot, but it had to be done. The next day, the pallbearers retrieved Jake's coffin, sealed to hide the body's terrible wounds, none the wiser that within the casket lay nothing more venerable than a slaughtered beast.
Now, bearing evidence and help hiding it is a little sketchy. You know, it's a little more sketchy, it's a little more cause for, you should have done something. At the same time, done what, you know?
Now, you can imagine I've spent more than my share of restless nights wondering who could have wanted that cadaver and for what purpose. I'm not an inch closer to imagining the why, but I've got a few inklings as to the who. Near as I can reckon, there are only 4 people who could have been involved. Mayor Cecil, Captain Aureus, Theleron's apprentice Evelyn, and Esmeralda.
Why do you suspect Mayor Cecil? I mean, to me that looks like Cecil, but he said Cecil, so I don't know.
Plenty of us shopkeepers entrust the mayor with the spare keys to our businesses, you know? And he's the only person in town with a second copy of the key to the mortuary.
That's solid reasoning.
He could have used it to sidle in without a peep, if he were so inclined.
Why do you suspect Captain Aureus, other than the fact that he's completely stupid?
Aureus himself paid me a visit the night the body was delivered. Came rapping at my door in the frosty morning before the sun had even started peeping, and told me to tell him, and only him, if I noticed anything strange or suspicious about the remains.
Okay, possibly a little sketchy, but at the same time, he might have had other reasons for that, like whatever. You know, I want to be the one to solve the case. I mean, it could just be him going for a power move. It might not necessarily be that he's trying to hide something, but I'm just mostly happy to suspect him of anything because the guy is an idiot.
Can't see why he'd bother to go through all that trouble, unless he knew something the rest of us don't.
Why do you suspect Evelyn?
I know it sounds strange suspecting the doctor's apprentice of something so ghoulish as this, but there's few in this city could manage to transport a corpse without raising eyebrows.
Yeah, that's pretty sketchy, you know what I mean? Like, that's not super common.
It was she who delivered Jake's body from the inn to the mortuary. And there was something about her that night. Some kind of excitement. Seemed she could barely contain her thoughts. That there was something thrilling about to happen. I can't quite settle it in my mind how a young medical professional would have such a strange reaction to an occasion such as that.
Yeah, that's pretty sketchy.
And this may or may not have anything to do with the whole rigmarole. But her master, Dr. Theleron, bought an old shack of mine, one overtaken by undead, for an exorbitant price considering what he was getting. I never did figure what he wanted it for, but he sure seemed eager.
Well, that's sketchy. Why do you suspect Esmeralda?
I never saw a widow less distraught at the death of her husband, and I've seen hundreds pass through my parlor.
That's fair.
It was she who rang my bell just before the body was snatched. Lured me outside, claiming she needed air, before discussing the funeral arrangements. Some accomplice could have sneaked in and grabbed the remains while I was comforting the oh-so-overcome Esmeralda.
About the bag of gold you received for keeping quiet about Jake's body?
That gold's the only good thing to come out of this blasted affair, and I certainly plan on making some use of it.
So here's the thing. We didn't talk to the lady, but the lady that owns that sheep, who owns that sheep is obviously out a really good sheep, and times are hard. So it's like, technically, you know, like, that would be good. I'm not super worried about us not winning this one. I don't expect we will. Usually I lose these arguments. But at the same time, if I was able to win, I would not mind that lady getting money for her sheep, because, you know, times are hard and like the town's declining because of all the undead and all that crap. And so it's like, I don't imagine that lady can really afford to lose something that important, like livestock, you know, when you probably don't have a whole lot, you know. Let's see. So the two I'm really leaning towards is charm, which is, come now, you're a good man and a pillar of this community. Hand over this blood money before it stains your reputation and your conscience. So maybe, or surely, I don't know if it's Bertia or Berta, or, you know, Bertia. Surely Bertia, whose sheep you stole, deserves this money more than anyone. Hand over the gold so it can make its way to its rightful owner. I'm tempted more of that one, because at least it mentions the lady by name who I'm thinking of, so we'll try, but I don't expect to win. Although we are 4-3, so that helps, but we'll see. Apparently going scissors is the strat here, apparently. I'm there. See, I'm hesitant to go scissors more than once in a row, because it's kind of your trump card, so to speak. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't work. Aha! See what apparently, just stay away from rock. You go switch between paper and scissors, and you'll probably win.
Well, with all the troubles plaguing Cyseal, I suppose us natives ought to put our finest feet forward. Here, take the gold, and give it to someone who actually deserves it.
Ah, good for you, Roberts. I'm such a good person.
Everything we do seems to fortify your abilities.
So something you're gonna realize really quick about this?
Wargraf seems nervous as a squirrel himself.
Oh, hang on.
Corpse houses, as he tends to call mortuaries, give him the creeps. Or so he explains in an unsteadily written note.
Anyway, if you play both characters like we're doing, you can like really talk. You can have them both complimenting each other so much. You're like, okay, both of you two settle down. You're so excited, stroking your own egos. But you know, you'll see what I mean. Let's see. So your two options here, because obviously Scarlet's like, everything we do seems to fortify your abilities. So that's referring to our stats and stuff increasing because we did things. So you can be a jerk about it, be like, it's easy enough to gain new strength when one is carrying an entire team on one's shoulders. Or you can be like, oh, no, you are the awesome one, you know? Anyway.
I suppose your example has inspired me to reach heights I'd never before envisioned.
That inspiration hardly flows one way, my friend.
See what I mean? They're just like so stroking each other's egos, and they're so excited about how awesome they are. Anyway, so that was productive. So we learned a lot of things. We've discovered that there are 4 possible people that might have taken Jake's body. Mayor Cecil, Captain Aureus, Theron's apprentice Evelyn, and Esmeralda. Whoever the culprit is, he or she had better start shaking in their boots. So that's what we discovered, and we got the gold, and so if we can go find the sheep lady, maybe we can actually physically give it to her, I don't know. So we have, we don't have an attribute point, but we do have an ability point to spend. Now, we could technically go for two-handed, but to my knowledge, that only increases the physical ability you have to strike someone with the weapon. And if Scarlet's whacking someone with her staff, then we have a bigger problem. So, one of the saves could be okay. She actually has really good willpower saves, which is actually good. We could grab any one of these other, like Pyrotechnic. Will probably be the next one we go for, because any spells we can learn is great. We already have a Charisma one, but we could grab a Lucky Charm if we wanted. Technically, that way when our gear thing expires, we could still have the option. Lore Master we already have, and that's useful for us to have. Other than we don't need those three. So I'm thinking spells is most important, so let's go Pyrotechnic, just so we can have that. And we do have a talent point to spend, which is great. So we could give her Leech. Leech would be good for her. I mean, obviously stepping in blood and getting you to heal. That's nice. Leech is one that I go for pretty much everyone, because once you get in a real fight, there's blood all over the battlefield. So that's convenient. But also, there's other ones we could go for too, like having our gear not lose durability would be nice. You know, there's other good ones too, but Leech is like always one that it's like it's important for me, is one I always go for. Gives you 2 extra ability points to spend. Oh wow, so if you could grab that and drop this in here instead if you wanted. If you grab all skilled up like right away. That's not a bad ability if there's none of these that really make you interested. So we don't care about arrow recovery for her, backstabber likewise. Bully, non-magical attack, so yeah, we don't care about that for her either. We do not want courageous, because that means we can't run away from combat, and at some point grabbing escapist would probably be a wise plan. Elemental affinity lowers the action point cost of spells by 1 when standing in a surface of the same element. I don't know, man. Like, if I'm standing on an electric something or other, I feel like I'm just going to be zapped and stunned, and I won't be able to cast spells. So maybe if I was standing on ice and I wasn't slipping, and I had an ice ability, you know, I don't know. But it seems really niche. I'm not sure how good that is. Extra point of intelligence is nice, but everyone dislikes you because you're such a know-it-all. Leech, again, really, really good. I think let's grab Leech. I feel like all the rest of these are just not that great, but Leech is just a smart one. So confirm, yes. All right, now we have Leech on both of them, which is great. But now Gloric, the man with the plan. So first, he already has Men-at-Arms, which is good. But on a weapons thing, he already has dual wielding. For defense, he's not going to use a shield because he's going dual wielding. We have Men-at-Arms still. So let's see. For this one, we have leadership maxed out. This one, he has crafting, but only because of the pragmatic, not because he actually has it. I don't know for his. That's actually a little harder. His is a little more complicated because his are kind of maxed out with what he has, you know. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything he should grab, but like there's a lot of this stuff he doesn't need, you know. A lot of these are spells, which he doesn't need. Marksman, again, marksman is bows. He doesn't need that. Spells. Scoundrel is the only one that might be convenient because like maybe there was an early level scoundrel that maybe is something he could grab there, but the rest of those are spells. Personality, we could give him Lucky Charm. At least that will have some sort of use, but the rest of this is not that useful. You know? Crafting would be okay, but I don't know if I'm going into crafting even at all. I don't even know if I'll bother. He's not going to sneak a whole bunch, you know. Pickpocketing, again, I don't think I'll pickpocket ever. Lockpicking, we have a rogue for that. So yeah, I guess the only one that's even remotely useful is Lucky Charms. So we'll go ahead and go for that one, because at least that's a good opportunity for good treasure and stuff. So, now, for obviously all skilled up would be a very bad idea, because obviously we just talked about this. He doesn't have any good abilities at the moment. Or nothing too insane. Now Bully is a little tempting because that would be a lot better. Bully boosts non-magical attacks by 50% against opponents that are slowed, crippled, or knocked down. And that happens quite a bit. Being slowed, crippled, and especially knocked down, that happens quite a bit. And Gloric actively has abilities that'll knock people over, and Scarlet will have things too, at least down the road, if not already. And so Bully is a little tempting because that'd be really good. And of course, all of his attacks are non-magical, so that's really good. Courageous we don't want, and Elemental same thing. Escapist is not bad because again, that might save our butt later on down the road. This one is spells and scrolls. He doesn't need this because he's not using those, but the one for grenades might be good. Light Stepper is perception bonuses. Morning Person is when resurrected, you revive at full health. I'm hoping he won't die, but it might happen. So yeah, having your gear not break is good. Pack Mules is good, but mostly like if you manage your inventory, it won't be full. And down the road, spoiler alert, but down the road we're gonna get a chest that will allow us to drop things off, and so that helps the weight tremendously. And we can send everything right from the inventory, so we don't even have to go anywhere to drop stuff off if memory serves. So Slingshot at the moment is the one I'm definitely gonna go for because it's grenade distance, and he's the grenade guy. Unless there's something else that grabs me that just like punches me in the balls, but otherwise. Thick Skin's tempting, because this one is all about survivability and stuff. Now this one, I think he does have bodybuilding saving stuff, so that one could be good too. That one wouldn't be terrible, but again, I'm hoping he's never going to get to the point where he's almost dead, you know? I feel like let's grab Slingshot while I'm already there. Thick Skin is really tempting because I really want that one, but Slingshot is one that I'm always going to be like, oh, he should have that. He's the grenade guy, but I'm always going to be like, oh, but there's better ones. So let's grab this while it's still early before I can talk myself out of it. So that's the plan. That's the plan. All right, beautiful. Sorry that all takes so long, but you know, it's all strategy, dude. This stuff is, you know.
That's it.
Okay, what just happened? I barely stepped foot. Like, we just... Oh, I can't go... but we won all those arguments. Oh, I could just scream. So, like, what? I'm supposed to, like, knock his ass out now? Like, I'm so mad. I accidentally stepped too far over, and now he's... Well, now what the hell do we do? Like... The nearest save was when we started the day, like, which means I'd have to do all that conversation again. And what's the other plan? Kill him? I guess we're just gonna kill him. Like, that's a stupid waste, but whatever. Like, that's, you know. I'm just so angry. That's so annoying, dude. I mean, we'll get stuck because Gloric is in the doorway, so none of us can move. And I guess we're killing this guy just cuz. Even though I would love to just not. But, you know. Beggars can't be choosers, and now he's gonna die. Why? Because I, whatever, took one step too far the wrong way. So now the real question is, that was pointless. So now the real question is am I gonna get a, like, you know, is the whole town gonna be mad at me now, or? So hey, that was real neat. This is gonna be what, us fighting about it?
An invigorating fight that was, and what a killing blow you delivered.
Cheers. Yes, I handled myself like the best of the best, even if I do say so myself.
No need for false modesty where none is needed. You're a born source hunter, and that's a fact.
Some sweet ego stroking for people that just murdered that guy for no reason. And after I just talked him into being a better man and all that crap too. What a flipping waste, dude. That is the highest level of annoying. Because I got whatever. I got close to the door, and I thought, oh, that's his bedroom. I shouldn't go that way. So I turned around, because I didn't want to get too close. So I turned around, thinking, yeah, I don't want to get too close. My party was behind me, obviously. And so then they all turned around, and I immediately triggered him, and obviously all that happened. So that's neat. So now the real question is, when I step out in town, am I just going to get, like, attacked right away? Because if we're really dreaming, that would be so cool. Well, some good stuff in there. Considering I killed the man, we might as well rob him, too. I mean, he's not going to use this stuff now that he's dead and all. That's annoying. That's so annoying, man. I'm so mad. So you think the whole town's against us? Or we killed the only witness, so... Whatever, I guess that's... I don't know. Might as well pop this open. Oh, look at that. There's a ledger.
I've got my eyes on the prize.
And then we discovered something. Corpse. Corpse. Maybe the ledger was what we were in here for? Oh. Got another scroll. Fancy. Alright, anyway. Inventory. Robert's Ledger. Oh, also this. Send to Glorek, I guess. I meant to send that to Bear Daughter, but whatever. Alright, furthermore, I find it impossible that any but Mayor Cyseal, Captain Aureus, Evelyn, or Esmeralda would have been able to gain access to the body without my noticing. A corpse can't just vanish into thin air, and even if it could, it's not as though a strong wind could blow a sack of gold onto the empty slab. No, one of them must have been involved, but as long as no one goes digging up Jake's coffin, I don't see how the crime could ever be traced back to me.
Looks like the mortician is rather suspicious about Jake.
What could Mayor Cyseal, Captain Aureus, or Evelyn have to do with it?
Sorry, stuffed up. Anyway, so yeah, that would be, I guess, the other way of us discovering, you know, anything, you know, if obviously we didn't discover that by talking to the guy. Oh, well, there was some money in that one. That's nice. Anyway, that was neat. Let's just close that door. No one needs to go up there and find the body for no particular reason. Anyway, that reminds me. We should give that a save. Now that it's over, let's
I feel a cold inside my soul.
bury that particular chapter of our lives and pretend it never happened. Move on. Anyway, well, even though we killed the guy for no freaking reason, at least we discovered what we needed. And we talked the gold out of him to the sheep lady, and we did all the right things other than killing him for no reason. Other than that, we did really good. So let's see if we can find that lady that's pissed about the sheep. Because I have money for her now. Hey, are you the lady?
Source hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. Things is chaos. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump Ogget, the finest in me herd.
About your stolen sheep.
That louse! Did he even bother grilling a single luscious chop? I bet he wasted every last morsel. Captain Aureus will have a thing or two to say about this.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. He certainly got what was coming to him. That is for sure. So obviously there's this one, but of course we already solved it. We even did the punishment stuff too. So there we go. We were judge, jury, and executioner. So now he's dead. Anyway, all right. So there's that. At least we got that out of the way now. So now I'm thinking the next thing we should do is go and hop in the tavern. There's lots of people to talk to in there. Oh, we should sell this painting while we're here. Otherwise, I'll never remember.
Well, what sort of arrows do you want?
Painting.
Freezing? Silver? Poison?
Lovely.
Get to the point.
Actually, hang on a minute. I found a magnifying glass.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
Ah, so I can identify this stuff because that's why I have the. I think it's Lore Master. I think it's Lore Master that helps you identify things, and Scarlet will be leveling into that. So we will have the lore we need. And we found a magnifying glass, obviously. So this is way better than what we're wearing. So we'll definitely wear that. It also has a cooler design, which is neat. Okay. We also picked up a dagger, which would be good for Wolgrath, possibly. So 15 through 24. Ooh, it's way better. It's high above our level, too. So the cost is less than ideal. Yeah.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
It's above our level, and so we could use it, but the AP goes up by a lot, which is less than ideal. You know? Less than ideal. I'm tempted to hold on to it and wait until our level catches up, because the cost starts getting a little aggressive.
Well,
all right.
What sort of arrows do you
want? But we can sell some of the things we don't need now. We don't need this old robe. So.
Poison? Get to the point.
All right. Well, that was good. Scarlet got a new robe, and that's nice. Sold some things. Now that I've killed that dude for no reason, I'm like, I want to save it. Like, I want to spam save all the time now. All right.
You there! A moment of your indulgence, if you please. You are the source hunter, are you not? The hero the whole of Cyseal is abuzz about. The talk of the town. The juiciest grape on the grapevine. Such a pleasure to meet you. A delight. No, scratch that. It is so much more than a delight. It is An intervention of fate. Yes, that's it. Fate has put me on this very spot, so I may tell you all about a most intriguing opportunity indeed.
And you are?
Mendius, at your service. What is my profession? Well, I'll tell you what it used to be, and that is a man of medicine. But what does a man of medicine do but mend what has first been broken? I saved lives, to be sure, but today I change them.
About that opportunity you mentioned.
Oh, it's not merely an opportunity. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to become better. To become the full extent of the promise that is locked inside of each and every one of us. So first of all, let me ask you this question. Do you like adventure?
This is like reeking of spam mail, dude.
Of course I do. How could someone in my profession not?
Quite right. Adventure is what we live for.
See here. You and I share the same passion. I never doubted it for a moment. The thrill of walking the unbeaten path. The rush of finding yourself in a goblin ambush, knowing you'll prevail nonetheless. Too bad your line of work comes with such measly recompense. Am I right? The wage of a mere soldier. Now, between you and me, tell me truthfully, don't you sometimes wish you could earn more?
Well, I can't say that I haven't.
Yes, some extra gold is always welcome.
Indeed. Indeed, gold is always welcome. And among the fabulous five, gold flows as freely as water does to the sea.
Bro, I'm like so not buying this. Like, the fact that you have all these lead-up questions to all this, like, just get to the point, man. Don't be a salesman.
Even so, my friend, matters of a pecuniary nature aside, what is life without variety, without spice? To be a source hunter must get frightfully dreary sometimes. Am I right? All those orders. Investigate this, retrieve that, and at the end of the day, what do you have to show for it? Wouldn't you prefer to call your own shots? Be your own boss?
It's better to lead than to follow. That much is true.
Better to be served than to serve, I concur.
Yeah, the weak serve the strong and all that Sith stuff.
Well spoken. Well said indeed. Life's too short to spend it doing someone else's bidding, am I right? Of course I am. And I could help you attain the dream, enact the change you deserve. And that is exactly why I am here. Why fate has put me right by the door to the King Crab, so that I could meet you and tell you about the marvel that is the Fabulous Five. The invitation to join is yours. Grab it.
Tell me more about the Fabulous Five.
Ah, the Fabulous Five. How I enjoy simply saying the words that describe the most illustrious and celebrated adventurers' guild in Riverlong. Our mission, to better the world. Our mantra, to better ourselves as we do so. To realize our dreams and cleanse our souls. You'd like nothing more than to enlist, wouldn't you? Of course you would. And you can. Of course, if you still have questions, I shall answer them to the best of my abilities. But if not, how about we get started?
So what is it that the members of the Fabulous Five actually do?
What a gem of a question. Straight as an arrow. Sharp as a switchblade. Most meritorious of you.
This guy is screaming salesman. Am I the only one seeing that?
Now then, to join the Fabulous Five is to join a fellowship, to join a fraternity, a sorority, a community. The title of Knight is bestowed upon you the moment you sign our waiver, and so it all begins. I shall be the one to give you your first contracts, and once the job is done, I shall see to it you get your fair share of the reward. Of course, should you spread the word, should you propagate the gospel of the Fabulous Five and thereby draw new knights into our fellowship, you will get a share of the reward from their contracts too. Isn't that wonderful?
Uh-huh. So it's like so you're mercenaries.
By now, the genial glow of the fellowship must have warmed your heart. It has, hasn't it? But did I say fellowship? I mean family. For like a family, we support one another, cheer one another, see each other through thick and thin, partake in glory and defeat.
So like mercenaries, but like without all that other fluffy crap on top.
Work hard. Fulfill contracts. Enlist new knights, and swiftly shall you rise through the ranks. You will better yourself. You will better Riverlon. You will make the stars shine all the brighter. And you'll get fabulously wealthy in the process. What's not to like?
Sure, I'd like to enlist. Because I totally believe you.
Of course, of course, of course. All you need to do is sign this waiver, and just like that, snap! You're part of the family. All I need is your lovely little autograph. What do you say?
Join a guild, better the world, earn a lot of gold. Yes, count me in.
Gonna be honest, I hit A once, and I guess I held it for a second too long because I did not mean to go that fast. I don't know, this is like, it's like such a lie, dude. Like, he's such a salesman, but like, I know in the past I just joined this guy, like, yeah, sure, whatever, dude, like, but I guess I don't, you know, I don't know, dude, like, obviously he's a liar, dude. Clearly he's full of it. And, you know, but maybe there's a good quest or something along the way.
And me. May all the riches in the world be ours.
Obviously it's such a load, right?
Marvelous. Magnificent. Oh, but what am I saying? Fabulous is the word. You may not realize it yet, but your fortunes, your very life is about to change for the better. So let us not dilly-dally. To business. Your first assignment is ready and waiting if you're ready and willing.
I met some sailors looking for a job. Perhaps they could join the fellowship.
You found new recruits already? Efficient. Proactive. Oh, I like that. Send them to me and I'll sign them up. And of course, since they're your recruits, you'll get a share of every assignment they complete. Isn't that just fabulous?
Oh yeah, fabulous, totally. About my assignment.
Oh, it's a pretty straightforward task, this one. Now, in this town dwells a wizard. Ahu is his name, and he's a frightful eccentric. Scientific type, you know the kind. Favors reason over faith and all that. Not Fabulous Five material, him. His experimental weapons may keep a couple of skeletons away from the city, but many of his other researches failed, malfunctioned with tragic consequences. One of them was a big lumbering apparatus, a frightful automaton shaped like a giant made of steel. It was supposed to crush the undead by the dozens, piloted as it was by a trained legionnaire.
Oh man, that dude's like over there making freaking, you know, Jaegers. How exciting.
But you can guess what happened. Did it become sentient? Was it cursed? Whatever the cause, the thing relieved itself of its pilot and headed north towards a network of caves. Now ask yourself, what if it comes back? It could smash the city walls and claim 100 lives before being subdued. Luckily, there are those in this world who belong to the Fabulous Five. The braves who eat such monstrosities for breakfast. Go, my friend. Find this wizard's abomination and claim your just reward from Mayor Cecil in the name of our hallowed guild. Easy money.
I'll take my leave. Okay. Fabulous Five. An adventurer named Mendius offered to let us join his guild, the Fabulous Five. We accepted and are eagerly awaiting our first assignment. Mayor Cecil has asked the Fabulous Five to destroy a robot of Arhu's that has taken over our northern cave. Mendius' first assignment for us is to clear the cave. Alright, so, we will do that. Not yet, of course. I mean, spoiler alert, but that robot is real tough. He does not fool around, so... I mean, no, he's not super tough. He's just, you gotta be careful. I've died to him before. So, you know, just, you gotta be careful. He's not a joke. So, that's a thing. Now, but, also, to be noted, you can you can have these sailors join the, you can have the sailors join the Fabulous Five, so I suppose that is what we will do. That'll work. So yeah, we'll run down to the docks real quick and tell them. Although you might be able to use the warp, whatever is it called? What is this thing called? Waypoint. We could probably use the waypoints to get here faster. Because I think it is faster actually than running down there. But whatever. Well, for now, we will run over here and tell them. We'll see. Clearly that guy is like selling snake oil, dude. Like, clearly the guy is such a salesman.
Have you found us a job yet? We'll take anything, really.
I wouldn't give me a blank check like that, man. But anyway, I found work for you.
The Fabulous Five, eh? That sounds like just the right opportunity for 3 brawny buccaneers like us. We'll go right away. Thanks.
Oh, hey, thanks to you. Thank you, man. Alright, so we found a job for them. Huzzah. I guess we are now neither altruistic nor egotistical, I guess. Alright. Oh, really quick. My health grew because of my new armor, so technically I'm missing health.
Sweet relief.
Ah, sweet relief. Okay.
On the mend.
Oh, maybe we can't do it yet. Maybe we need some other things before we're allowed to teleport. I mean, you know, on the go and whatnot. We probably could use the actual waypoints though. And then teleport to the north gates. There we go. Alright, that's faster, that's nice. Alright, we're on the other side of the tavern, which is on the wrong side of this, sorry. Over here. Okay, so we can go ahead and run back to the tavern. Now we won't be interrupted by that guy. And we can start talking to people in there, see what's up with them. Alright. Hey, man.
How fares your first quest, hero and hunter? Fabulously exciting, I'll bet.
I met some sailors. I already said this, but I don't know if it'll be different.
Yes, I've met them. Oh, they're a very promising set indeed. They've already left on their first assignment, don't you know? Yes, indeedy. Left for Lucula Forest, that leaf-covered playground of goblins. Oh, such stories they'll have to tell when they make it back.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy is like so full of it, dude. He's so full of it. Anyway. Alright, hi.
Ah, hello. I suppose you're here to viciously interrogate me for information I don't have, like our noble Captain Aureus before you.
What do you know about Jake's murder?
It's very tragic news. I won't posture and say that the Counselor and I were anything near allies, but I truly never wished the man harm.
Got it. Good talk.
Back, demon! Back, or I'll... Well, what's this? Oh, Medora, you lummox. 1,000 pardons, comrade. This old bear's edgier than a dodecahedron these days.
Ah, yes. One of those. For sure.
I'll tell you, it sure does me good to set eyes on another of our order. From Academy West, aren't you? Give Captain Wartruce my regards next time you see him.
I hadn't heard of another source hunter being assigned to Cyseal. What are you doing here?
Heavens haunted! That's quite a story, comrade. And come to think of it, one that might concern you. See, I'm here on, well, let's call it a loan from a town to the north of here. Hunter's Edge by name. There's been an attack there, comrade. Orcs. Not your run-of-the-mill savages either, but ones who've taken dark magic to new heights. What they want in Hunter's Edge, I can't say, but it's my responsibility to send them packing. preferably with their horns in their suitcases and a knee-knocking fear of ever crossing paths with a sauce hunter again. I came south seeking the Legion's help, only to find it tied here in Cyseal. They don't have a spare soldier to send northward, and even in my finest form, I can't clear the place of that many orcs without backup.
Orcs attacked your village. How'd you manage to escape?
By the skin of my teeth, comrade. The savages were rounding up villagers when one of them activated a tripwire on our village wizard's property. Fortunately for me, that particular wizard has a penchant for things that go boom in the night. I managed to wrench free of my captor's grip and flee toward the forest. He pursued me for miles, but I'd lost him before I made it into the Cyseal hinterlands.
Who did you say you were? I don't recognize you from the academy.
You wouldn't. I trained up in Academy North, after all. We don't cross paths with you Westies all that often, but it's always a pleasure when we do. Medora's the name. Retired, or so the Order keeps trying to tell me, but never out of commission. My hand to your cause and my sword at your side.
What's your next plan of attack?
Well, comrade, I hadn't thought of it till you tapped my shoulder just now. But perhaps that's where you come in. I need a contingent I can trust if I'm to take back the town. And the way I see it, you could use reinforcements here in town. I've been scouting Cyseal for some time now, and I believe I've sussed out sufficient intel to help solve the murder of the Counselor. With our minds and swords in tandem, we'll make short work of the perpetrator.
So that's your proposition. You help us here in Cyseal, and we help you take back your home village thereafter?
But it seems you've got all the help you need, haven't you? More's the pity. We could have beheaded 100 Source Yetis in the name of the Order.
What evidence of Source in Cyseal have you found thus far?
More than I'd hoped, comrade. I don't know what in tarnation's gotten into the townsfolk here, but there's enough dark magic running roughshod to topple a small mountain. There's Mayor Cecil's doings for one, and the mysteries of our master Thalron for another. And on top of it all, the feline menace is lurking at every hearth and shadow.
Tell me about Mayor Cecil.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think the mayor's a decent sort, even if he can't hear farther than the tip of his own nose. But from what I've heard whispered around the docks, the old guy's gotten himself mixed up in something not quite on this side of the law. I suspect an illegal source artifact or substance is at the root of it, but exactly what or who's given it to him, I can't say. And since I haven't technically been assigned to Cyseal, I don't have the authority to interrogate him.
Tell me about Theron.
Fella seems like a humble doctor, but I bet my sword he's dealing in something darker than splints and tonics. A loose-lipped fishmonger let slip that she'd seen our good doctor scale the city wall on 2 separate occasions, well past midnight each time. What business could he have among the undead? Hardly the habit of an innocent healer, I'd say.
Tell me about the, feline menace?
You mean you don't already know, comrade? Their kind can see in the dark. It ain't natural.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but cats have pretty good vision. Right, so obviously our party's full. So we can't recruit her, which is fine, to be honest with you.
Never saw you in the king crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back.
Who are you?
I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank, and I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in. Been the king crab's foremost patron ever since.
Fun fact, this whole Unsinkable Sam being a cat thing, this is actually a really cool reference. There was in history, I don't remember where, if it was like what time it was in, but there was an actual cat nicknamed Unsinkable Sam, and I think he was on several shipwrecks. I think this was like pirate kind of era. I don't quote me on that. I just remember it was a ship, but I don't totally remember like what era it's in. But he was on several shipwrecks and he survived like several times, and so that's how he got the name Unsinkable Sam. But this is actually a really cool reference, fun fact. Anyway, tell me about the ship you were on.
A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say.
You were the only survivor?
So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind. And in that regard, there is no one like Maxine.
About Maxine.
Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle palette of dyes in her sable coat. She's one of a kind, that cat. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed.
Okay.
By all means.
Kill the undead. Okay. So, the cat loves Maxine, the mayor's cat. So, we'll talk to Maxine once we get over there, and we'll see what she says. Also, Alistair, what a fun cameo.
Sorry, I've run out of signed handkerchiefs. An Alistair keyring, maybe. In any case, make it quick. You're not the only fan who wants some of my time.
I'm sorry, I'm actually not familiar with you.
What do you mean, not familiar? You expect me to believe you've never heard of Alistair the Almighty? Why, I'm only the most famous wizard this side of the distance. Although, it'd be worth checking the other side too, just in case. And don't forget, I'm the most eminent member of the Fabulous Five to boot. Surely you already know we've been voted the most influential adventurers guild by Side Quest Monthly. 3 years running.
Side Quest Monthly? About my first assignment.
Ah, you'll be dealing with Ahu's little abomination, will you? I'd go myself, but I'd fear I'd end the fight before anyone else got in their licks.
Uh-huh.
If I don't leave a few crumbs for the newbies once in a while, they'll accuse me of stealing the spotlight, you see.
Tell me more about the Fabulous Five.
Well, well, you're far from my caliber, but who isn't? It's good you're eager, but let me give you a word of warning. Aim for my spots, and your career in the Fabulous Five will meet a most unsavory end.
Right, good talk. The guy's out of his mind.
What have we here? A source hunter, is it? Well, my day just became rather more stimulating. Oh, stand still then, if you don't mind. I want to take a good long look at the so-called savior of Cyseal.
I have a feeling I'm not gonna like you.
Tall as an elf, strong as an orc, but your face, quite classical, isn't it? Statuesque, some might say. Yes, smooth and sturdy as marble, yet fine as a chisel's edge.
Lady, is this how you greet everybody?
And my word, what passion burns from your eyes. Please forgive my being forward, but I dare say, can it be? You're exactly the person I've been searching for.
You've been searching for someone?
That I have. For nearly a lifetime, it seems. Well, I'm sure you must know what I mean. Like existence itself lacked a significant component. Like if you could only fill a certain void, could connect with the right body, the right spirit. Together you could uncover new and thrilling vistas.
I'm hesitant to say anything until I know what you're talking about for sure.
I believe I have found that component, that body, that spirit within you, Source Hunter. Come, if ever we are to be united, we must truly entwine our fates. We must link our causes forevermore.
Alright, lady, you freaking relax. You don't even know me.
Yes, you must join the Fabulous Five right away, as soon as time permits. Together, as a team, we'll explore the boundless realm before us. We'll uncover fate, inch by inch.
We are talking about the guild, right? And nothing else? About the Fabulous Five.
So you've joined up. You've sworn to share in our adversity and our bounty alike. Oh, you've made my heart soar. I can finally offer you our finest adventuring equipment at fantastic in-house rates. Come now, let's trade. Well, you must be thrilled to find yourself a member of a team so widely renowned for its valor and skill. And you must be even more curious about how you yourself can suit up to face such enemies as a member of the Fabulous Five must face. Well, never fear. I have everything you need.
Uh-huh. Right, so, you know, the same snake oil that the rest of them are selling. Right. Yeah, just, yeah. Alright, good talk. Man, is everyone here crazy?
Ah, pointless chatter with strangers does so thrill me. How did you know? Please continue interrupting my drink if you'd be so kind.
Alright. Alright.
Zimbladorix! That! Ha! Quite under my spell, aren't you? Yes, my enfriending charm never fails.
Alright. I am convinced everyone here is insane. Alright, we have to talk with Captain Aureus before we can start investigating the murder. We're not even allowed to go over there, so that's what that is. We have to check in with the captain before we can. But we could poke around upstairs without touching anything too deeply, because of course I have already recently been killing people on accident for no foreseeable reason, so hopefully we can avoid doing more of that. Hola!
Greetings, greetings! Oh, you are most welcome in my chamber. Customers rarely find me up here, but I do so abhor the hustle and bustle of the marketplace.
I take it you're a traveling merchant?
That I am. I have spent more of my life on the road traveling alongside great caravans than I have in any given place in Rivellon. All of this earth is my home, for a few days or even but a few hours at a time, that is. You wouldn't believe some of the things I have seen. Oh yes, a city besieged by the dead isn't even remotely special to me. All the better that it isn't. For you and for me. Because outlandish events lead to outlandish wares.
Uh-huh. Do you have any outlandish wares? Oh my lord, you sell spells. Suddenly I'm a lot more interested. Oh, winged feet, venomous stay, winged feet, wait a minute. Immune to surfaces, as if you were floating above them. This is actually one that's actually useful. Winged feet is convenient because apparently, so I think it is it is scoundrel. But it's convenient because sometimes, like, getting over a surface is really stinking convenient. And this one is actually a good spell. Venomous Strike, Fast Track, which we already have. Walk in Shadows, we already have. Lacerate, same thing. And then Precision Incision, or Precise Incision, which is cool. Trip as well. And then, but this one, these are actual spells that Scarlet could use. Destroy Summon. Deal immense damage to a summoned creature. Oh, that's actually cool, because summons do happen. Oath of Desecration, which we have, I think. Rapture, charm a target. What does charm do? Charm status temporarily turns a target's allegiances around. Oh, wow, so they'll fight on your side, at least briefly. Well, that's interesting. Decaying Touch, make a target decay so that it cannot be healed by magic or potions anymore. It'll be damaged instead. Wow, okay. Drain willpower, okay. Lower resistances, malediction, and vampiric touch. Fascinating, okay. Well, hey, that's kind of cool. She has some good stuff. Now, we could buy some of this, like, again, we could buy winged feet, you know, but we also might find winged feet. I don't know, you know. And she's here, so now we know. She has spells, too. That's cool. The more you know. Don't touch any doors that are red. I mean, hell, don't touch anything anyway. Oh, this one's open and not locked and not red, so. Oh, I think this is just the, yeah, nothing crazy. Yeah, obviously that one's locked, but all right. All right, just regular stuff. Okay. We can bail, but that's interesting about the traveling merchant, though. That could be convenient, because winged feet could be convenient for Wolgraf. It might be nice, because I think I've had that spell before on somebody. I don't remember if I gave it to him or not, but I've used that spell before, and it is convenient. I think I did have it on Wolgraph at some point, and it is nice because sometimes enemies will drop all this stuff like poison or like all kinds of things, or fire or whatever, and it can be a big pain in the butt trying to fight while like really bad effects on the ground or killing everything. So that could be convenient. Oh, Maxine.
Oh, golly gosh. One who flaunts the highways and byways of silly old Cyseal with the easy elegance of a puss with her tail in the air. I do declare such a sight is rather rare around here.
No one make a face. Move on. I don't know if you were all thinking what I was thinking back there, but let's just all move on as a group. Let's not point obvious. Let's not make fun of what would be really easy here, okay? Everyone relax.
But where are my manners? I am Maxine, and you must be one of those hunters one hears so much about. Charmed, I'm sure.
About Unsinkable Sam. Sorry.
Oh, he's a darling old Tom, isn't he? Paws over tails in love with me, and who can blame him? The feeling's, well, it's rather mutual, actually. But that pet of a puss simply doesn't have a penny to his name. At the risk of sounding as shallow as a spaniel, I can't but admit my love does not come unconditionally. What if we were to have kittens, he and I? They'd jolly well starve, wouldn't they? With an alley cat for a papa?
I guess that would depend on how reliable he was,
Oh, dear Sam, he's such a good old bean. But he does rather reside at the bottom of the scratching pole, doesn't he? And dear me, one must have at least a mite of standards.
Right. Got it. So she's shallow. Not shallow, it's like, man, like status doesn't mean anything. You know? Doesn't mean anything, not necessarily. Anyway.
I think I'll sleep by the fire tonight, once the regulars stagger home.
About Maxine.
Aye, so there's the rub. I am but a stray, and she is the mayor's cat. Oh, I do understand her, I do. She wants a Tom of means, not privation. One who brings home the sardines and the occasional halibut. Would that I still had my collar. Such a marvel it was, as bejeweled as the night sky with precious stones, said to have once been worn by a far-off Maharaja's best hunting cheater. Like the king of all cats I looked when I wore it. A gift bestowed upon me by a princess whom I had kept company during a long and perilous voyage. A precious band of gemstones, lost as I was tossed around by the waves like a ball in a game of catch. Among the waves it remains, I imagine. Worn perhaps by a crab who fancies himself a Caesar with it. If only I could be the Caesar again, and Maxine my Caesarina.
Alright, so there's the bit. There's the deal. We need to look for the collar, which I do pretty much know where it is. I know what zip code it's in, I just don't remember the specific spot. But we'll keep our eyes peeled once we're over there. Eventually we will be over there for other things, so fear not. Alright, moving on. We should be saving a hell of a lot more. We could try that quick save thing. We don't necessarily have to do this whole override thing every time. Mayor.
What? Oh, it's you. Come closer then. Closer? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. Our city welcomes you.
I've joined the Fabulous Five. Let's discuss the assignment they gave me. Sorry.
Oh, yes, the Fabulous Five. Aren't they simply fantastic? I'm sure they'll get the job done in no time, especially with your expert hand lent to their cause. That machine Ahu built is an abomination. It must be stopped at all costs. I bet the wizard himself could provide some advice regarding how to destroy it. He's the mad scientist who crafted it after all.
You've been named as a suspect in Jake's murder case.
Jake? Murdered, you say? Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Now I remember. Well, I'm sure the facts will prove me innocent. Keep investigating. You'll see for yourselves in time.
Can you tell me more about your library?
That depends. What kind of berries are you interested in, exactly?
Funny, I said library.
Ah, the library. Yes, yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of Cyseal. Would you like to have a look? I'll escort you upstairs myself.
Sure, sounds interesting.
Marvelous. Follow me then.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Go ahead.
Wargraf gives you a knowing look. He seems to think the mayor is a few arrows short of a quiver.
I hope there are no large predators around, or the mayor may find himself easily hunted.
Alright, anyway. Hang on, I'm coming.
What? Oh, yes. This library is the jewel in Cyseal's crown, the beacon of culture and learning in our fair city. My Victoria has every volume you could possibly imagine, and she's got every speck of information about this place packed into her brilliant brain. Yes, Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so long ago. Ah, it brings a tear to my eye just seeing her here among her beloved books. What? Oh, yes, yes. I'll be on my way back downstairs now. Please introduce yourself. I know Victoria will be happy to make your acquaintance.
Alright. So we can poke around.
What nonsense. The pseudo-monarchia demonum.
In the name of Amon-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Geta Hal. Be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine.
Wow, that's awfully courteous. Who are you, madam?
I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Cyseal toward the sea. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amon-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own, this kindest of souls, taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride.
May I take books from the library?
Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow so that others may enjoy them too.
And now the point is now we're not going to get in trouble for grabbing this stuff, which is
the lesser key
the
of
important thing.
Salacandras.
What
nonsense.
Brief history of sorcery
The
still hasn't been
Encyclopedia
returned.
Demonium.
Anyone will have to
Looking
pay
for
for it.
something. Ah, that looked important. Okay. This stuff is going to be going off forever.
Where's the third one gone? Shatsu.
Demonology
Sometimes I
for
think these books sprout
dumbbells.
little legs in the night.
I need something more advanced. The
Let's
pseudo-monarchia.
Ignore that guy for a minute.
The
I know
first
his
edition
deal.
too. Most
The night
promising.
will see through
Alright, well.
Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom.
Cyseal.
Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
Alright, what is happening with those with their dialogue right now? Alright, ignore them.
The Encyclopedia Demonium.
Cyseal's Genesis, a
I know
play.
it by heart.
Oh, that looked important. Okay. Oh, a scroll. One that I won't get in trouble for grabbing. Neat.
Demonology for dumbbells.
Okay.
I need something more
Sometimes I
advanced.
think these books
Ignore the
sprout little legs in the
peons.
night.
Book to be discovered in this library.
Philosophy of Death. Hang on, I think that's the thing we need for the guy. We're good. We won't get in trouble for that. This one's fine. There's a blank one, but I don't know how to make those scrolls. But I guess we can grab it. Maybe we'll figure it out at some point.
Still hasn't been
First
returned.
edition too.
Teleron will have to pay
Okay.
yet another fine.
We've got lots of good things there. That other fool is Jahan. He's a load of fun. Alright, we found a book listing some of the tried and true jokes. Maybe we can put it to use. We found a play based on the founding of Cyseal. Maybe we can put it to good use. So we found the book we need. I guess we can talk to
Is there
Jahan.
no new omnes autem mali demonis quam?
He's not friendly, and he's not nice, and he's not super likable. So I've never carried him for more than a few minutes. Until just long enough to learn, yeah, this guy's actually kind of a jerk.
What? What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? By Naga the Protector, they have the manners of boors, these boatmen of Cyseal. Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken. For you hardly resemble the local fisher folk, which, incidentally, is a compliment of copious dimensions indeed. No, a source hunter, that is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery, a chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for I take no pleasure in the company of man. But it may just be to our mutual advantage to join forces nonetheless.
Why would you want to join forces?
I would tell you my reasons, but it seems rather pointless to do so, seeing that quite clearly there is no room left in your band of adventurers for an additional champion. A pity, really.
Right. So yeah, he's another option for companions. Like I said, he's not incredibly likable. He's not very nice or likable. And you know, if you go through his backstory, I'm certain there's a reason or whatever. He's probably was shaped that way for a reason, but I don't know what the reason is. And you know, he's not super nice, right? So it's like, I don't know. He's not very nice. So he's it's not incredibly fun to talk to the man for very long because he's kind of a jerk. And you're like, come on, bro. Just could have played nice, bruh. Alright, so we grabbed the book we need, and now we can do this riddle thing, but the last time I did this riddle thing, my sister and I were doing a little bit of co-op, a long time ago now. And when we did, she had the book open, and I was in the riddle, and so she could tell me what she was reading based upon the questions, and obviously, I can't do that here. And so what I'm gonna do, because I'm a funny man, is that might have been a little muffled. I am actually going to take picture. I'm taking pictures. So here's the bit, because I'm taking pictures of the pages here, and the benefit of this is this way I can answer these questions with having the book in front of me, but I'm not going to have to remember whatever it is I read, because I might not remember. And it would be really cool to get these pages right. This riddle thing right, so.
The very fact that you seek me out once
more,
do you truly feel you are ready to prove that you have read and understood the philosophy of death?
Oh, sorry, I am.
Then we shall proceed to test the mettle of your acumen forthwith.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm staring at the pictures of the pages right now.
Between life and death, death is the greater force. So argues the clergyman. Is he correct?
Okay, let's see. The philosophy of death. Let us briefly discuss life and death, the great opposites, the great equals. Death is greater than life, so saith the priest. For in death comes the god's just reward. If this be true, whether they reward... I'm just mostly looking for the words clergyman, you know, because maybe that'll trigger what I need. Alright, I'm mostly just going to kind of scroll through until I see clergyman. Due to the philosophy of death, death is the instigator of faith.
Rotten lamb chops.
Okay, well, he doesn't... I don't see the words clergyman, so it might not be even that easy. Between life and death, death is the greater force, so argues the clergyman. Is he correct? Between life and death, death is the greater force. So really, it's the clergyman thing isn't the point. Is between life and death, death is the greater force. So really, that's what you're looking at. But it is true whether that reward shall be the solace of heaven, and then it's decided during one's lifetime. For this, hang on, I think I saw the answer. Death is greater than life, so saith the priest, for in death comes the god's just reward. But if this is true, whether that reward shall be with the solace of heaven or the agony of hell, is decided during one's lifetime, and therefore life is much greater than death, for it is the decision maker. Death is the greater force, so argues the clergyman. Is he correct? So that would be no, because he just said that. No.
Of course not.
Correct, he is not.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Let us proceed. Life is life's own goal. The question that is itself the answer. Good. Now I am unburdened of all worries, am I not?
Okay, let's see. Life is life's own goal, they say. A wise sentiment I echo, and that even priests would do well to heed. But oh, how often does doubt assail these revelers in life? How often does fear approach with the creeping of the shadows? So great becomes the looming horror that death becomes greater than life, and death becomes the greater force. Forget the promise of gods, I say, but defy the fear of oblivion as well. For only if life For only if life and death become each other's equals can the philosophy of death become one of life. Death is the instigator of faith and fear, but only for that. So, okay, let's see. I think life is life's own goal. The question that is itself the answer. Good. Now I am unburdened of all worries, am I not? Okay, let's see. Those care for the gods. Blah, 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 blah. Life is life's own goal, they say. A wise sentiment I echo, and that even priests would do well to heed. Because now you're unburdened. So now I am unburdened of all worries, am I not? How often does doubt assail the salvation in life? How often does fear approach with the creeping of the shadow? So great becomes the looming horror. The horror that death becomes larger than life, and death becomes the greater force. I don't know, like, I think in this paragraph, I mean, this section, it sounds like he's arguing that. He's saying, like, that's what they say, but I don't think that's true. So it's kind of saying, like, I would say not entirely no, because that's kind of what he's doing in this paragraph. He's arguing, saying that yes, they do say that whatever, life is life's own goal. They say a wise sentiment I echo, and that even priests would do well to heed. But oh, how often does doubt assail these revelers of life? You know what I mean? And then the next whole section, in the first part, he says, yeah, he's like, I agree with that. But in the second half, he's arguing the point. So it's like, do you agree with it or don't you? So I guess we're going to go with no, because otherwise, if he just purely agreed, I feel like it would be shorter. So we're going to say not entirely no.
Not entirely, no.
I concur.
We'll see.
Last query. Boldly do I scorn the bonds of faith and fear. Death I dub thee life's equal. Is this my salvation or my undoing?
Boldly do I score. Okay. Forget the promise of gods. I say, but defy the fear of oblivion as well. For only if life and death become each other's equals can the philosophy of death become one of life. All right. What is your question first? Boldly do I scorn the bonds of faith and fear, which I just read. He said that. Death I dub thee life's equal. Is this my salvation or my undoing? Okay. Death is the instigator of faith and fear, but only if you let it be so. If you can gaze into its obsidian eyes, knowing it be all and end all, but fear neither, then shall you have reached the shores of wisdom. Alright, Death is the instigator of faith and fear, but only if you let it be so. If you gaze into if you're gazing into death, knowing it is the be all and end all, but fear neither, then shall you have reached the shores of wisdom. Do I scorn the bonds of faith and fear? Death I dub thee life's equal. Is this my salvation or my undoing? So he's saying, like, life is whatever. Death is equal to life. Is that a good or bad thing? Is, like, basically the question. Death is the instigator of faith and fear, but only if you let it be so. If you gaze into the obsidian eyes, knowing it and all the fear, but fear neither, then shall you have reached it. I think yes. I think is this salvation. I think it's your salvation. Salvation.
Your salvation.
I think.
Indeed.
Most
Yeah, suck it.
impressive. Nothing short of miraculous. You have verily fathomed the message of my book. My undying respect is yours, to an extent.
There you go. Look at that. Reading comprehension for the win.
I may rest content in the knowledge that
Wow,
my
plus
legacy
100.
is in good hands. Ta-ta! I shall see you in the next life.
Wow, plus 100 for all of us, and a chest too. Ooh, a fancy ring, a fancy bow, and an arrow. Wow, look at that. We totally did it, guys. Can you believe it? Look at that, we totally passed it. We successfully completed his test, which inspired him to move into the next life or to challenge someone else. Hey, that was cool. We actually did it. That was awesome. Reading comprehension for the win, baby. All right. So first things, let's go ahead and identify. Okay. Now, we have a ring, which is air resistance and movement. I don't know which one of that matters, because it's air resistance, but like, what constitutes as air, you know what I mean? So it's like, sure, I'll take that. And then movement's just kind of helpful for, I guess, anyone. So, and then obviously Bear Daughter's the bow, that's obvious. Alright, so she's using a 28-48. It's her bow, but it's actually stronger than what she should be using. This one is appropriately leveled, which is good, but it's obviously a lot weaker. So we can just sell that.
Rest in peace, darling.
Anyway, okay. Well, obviously it was obviously worth doing. I was thinking, wait a minute, why am I blonde? It's because I'm on the wrong person. Anyway, well, that was neat. Reading comprehension for the win. That might not be the most exciting content, but, you know, gonna be honest, it still felt pretty good to actually pass something that required to use the old brain, you know what I mean? Okay, next things first. First of all, what time is it? Okay, we're good. We do have a little more time, so I think we should head towards Captain Aureus. We also could talk with Esmeralda. I know what to grab of hers to have the dog smell. I know that. I even think I might know where it is, but I don't know. I think Captain Aureus might be next. I mean, Esmeralda's shop is closer, but I don't know. But on the way, though, we need to talk to someone. Aureus has an assistant. She's over here. She's the only one with anything useful.
Source Hunter. A sight for sore eyes, if ever there was one. I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, but truth be told, the Legion could use your help as well. We've been conducting a series of expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success.
With whom do I have the honor of speaking?
Lieutenant Selenia, at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second-in-command. But rest assured, I am a lot more kindly inclined towards source hunters than he is.
Yeah, we haven't met Captain Aureus yet, but once you do, you'll realize he is just an idiot. he's an asshole, and he's an idiot, and it's just not fun. She's actually the brains of this operation, so, you know, she's actually useful.
Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition, and even rivalry between our orders. But I, for one, have no intention of looking a gift horse in the mouth.
See? Told you she's smart.
And that is exactly what your presence in Cyseal is, Source Hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. Such is my honest conviction.
Let's discuss the undead.
The undead. I pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Cyseal, after all. No longer do I feel that way, though. Too many of my soldiers have fallen. The dead must be put down without mercy, if we can. The bravest among my men and women tell me they are weaker in the west and stronger in the east. So I suggest you head westward if you want to flex your muscles and test the waters before blindly diving to your death.
Smart move. I'd like to talk about some matters concerning the Legion.
I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you.
Let's discuss the expeditions into hostile territory you mentioned.
If ever we want to be victorious in Cyseal, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising. Under the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched to do just that. But so far, none of their participants have returned. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation. The Lighthouse, the Burial Mounds, and the Old Church. Places fraught with danger all.
Regarding the Lighthouse...
There's a lighthouse to the west, up on the bluffs, overlooking the sea. No man has gone there in a decade, and yet a light shines from its pinnacle every night. The locals say it's haunted, and half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out whether or not those are mere tall tales. I fear for their safety.
So about the Burial Mounds?
There are ancient burial grounds to be found north of the city. As good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say?
That makes sense.
A local archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be of use to them.
Let's discuss the old church.
There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the Source. The Cysealians razed it, and built a church for the 7 instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery. All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition.
You mentioned a pact you made with your legionnaires?
So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, you're probably not making it home. Right. So obviously that's a whole bunch of missions, and so that's all the, areas we have to head to. So now we know. She is the useful one.
Greetings. These stores
Hang
are
on.
for our Legion troops. Riverland's finest.
Step aside! Step aside! This maniac's gonna turn me into a meat pie!
So here's the thing. This chicken's running away from the cook.
Chicken, viens chez papa.
Yeah, so this chicken started running away from the cook, obviously. If you didn't have Pet Pal, it's just a chicken. But we can talk to the chicken because we know his name. See? Because we have Pet Pal. Because it makes sense. Makes sense for the spellcaster to have it. She's like knows all this magic and stuff, so it makes sense that she can do crazy things.
Chicken, viens chez papa.
Isn't it a...
It got real muffled because the camera zoomed outside, so we can't hear Scarlet anymore.
True story indeed. Perhaps we too can have a bite later.
No! My neck's too graceful to be hacked in half!
Sorry there, chicken. It's your destiny. There we go. I helped you cook. Are you happy?
That was close. Thanks for catching Fidgety Jack here. I guess he got nervous when I mentioned drumsticks.
It's worse when you can talk to him.
Let's have that bird then, shall we? Our troops are mighty hungry.
There you go. All's well that ends well. Anyway, unless you're Jack the Chicken, of course, in which case, not so much. Anyway. Okay, so there was the assistant. She was high on the priority list to talk to. Next, you guys ready to meet just the worst guy ever? So am I. Let's go. I guess we'll go Aureus first, and we'll talk to him, and then we will. I think Arhu is upstairs, so then we'll go and maybe talk to him.
Mr. Head Honcho Legionnaire, the Source Hunter says that creep Robert stole my sheep.
He's dead. Don't worry about it.
And?
Well, aren't you going to arrest that stinking thief?
I'll have a talk with him, madam.
He won't be doing a whole lot of talking, gonna be honest, but whatever.
What have we here, then? A so-called Source Hunter, eh? Well, look, do what you must in Cyseal, but don't make waves and don't interfere with the Legion's affairs, you hear?
So we're gonna talk to this guy as little as possible, alright? We're gonna check in, we're gonna get what we need so I have permission to investigate the murder more easily and get into the murder scene. And, but then we're bailing, because this guy is an asshole.
Gods above! Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother. But he just had to send for Source Hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They see a pigeon poop and think sorcery's afoot. Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop. Understand? I am in command of this town, not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot Source Hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined, but report back to me the moment you discover something out of the ordinary. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Now off with you!
Yeah, sounds good, dude. Got it. Like I said, I contemplated telling him any of that crap, but I know he's not going to be helpful, so forget him. We got permission, now we're allowed to enter the murder scene. That's the point. So, whatever. Alright, so, Arhu. Hey, man. Hey, Dave, bro.
Source Hunter. Welcome. Welcome.
Let's talk about Source Hunter business.
By all means.
Let's see. Is there more you can tell me about the strangers that seem to be in league with the orcs?
I can't say much more, but that they're madmen. All the more dangerous to us because of their alliance with what should be a natural enemy. You won't see me teaming up with a terrier in a hurry.
Let's discuss Jake's murder.
Of course. I hope your investigation fares well.
Let's discuss Jake's corpse.
His body is gone? Replaced with that of a sheep? This is all very disconcerting, to say the least. Grave robbery reeks of necromancy. Could Jake have been involved with those that raise the dead? It seems too improbable to be true, but nevertheless. You're onto something, Hunter. Do follow the scent and see where it leads you.
What happened on the night of the murder?
I can but piece together what few morsels fell from the grapevine into a rather disappointing meal, I'm afraid. They say a woman arrived in the King Crab Inn sometime after midnight. She retired to a room on the ground floor where she was soon joined by a man who had been nursing the same cup of wine for hours.
Sketchy.
I say man and woman because both of them were cloaked and recognized by none. About an hour later, another figure arrived, headed for the same room. Soon after, a terrible commotion erupted and the thundering light of magic was witnessed by the few remaining patrons. It took a while for the landlord to pluck up the courage to enter the mystery room. When finally he did, he found Jake there, dead. How and why he came to be there, no one knows. But I had a good look around the scene of the crime before the Legion barred anyone from entering. The traces of magic I felt were vile. Source, no doubt.
Ah, got it. Who, in your opinion, are the suspects?
I myself have none. Even though the rest of the town has already mentally tried and convicted Jake's wife, Esmeralda. Now, it may well be established that she is, in fact, the guilty party. I'm not claiming that I'm certain she's innocent, but let's just say that if I really thought this murder case would be so very easily resolved, I wouldn't have sent for source hunters.
I'll take my leave. Okay, mysterious murder. Arhu told us that what happened in the night of Jake's murder, 2 cloaked figures, followed by a third, entered a room. Shortly afterward, the sounds of a great struggle broke out. When the innkeeper went to see what happened, the room was destroyed and Jake was dead and alone. So, that's the bit. Now we know. Yeah. So now we know, and we have permission to enter the murder scene now without getting, having the guard getting pissed. So that's good. So that's good. Alright, this way. Excuse me. Now, isn't there like a fair or something over here? Just Legionnaire. Just a gate. I don't often explore this little bottom end of town, so I often forget what's over here. I might be... Oh, there we go. Fair. I knew there was a fair over here somewhere. Hi.
You there! Sit! Stay a while. Right in front. I'll excite you. I'll delight you. I'll beguile you. I'll besmile you. I'm Cedric the Sensational, and I'm playing to an empty audience.
Really sorry to hear that, Cedric. Good luck to you.
Sherman, show all of them. Cyseal, what you're made of.
Okay. Got it.
It is said, and this I have heard from a ghost who knew Elba, who knew Elliot, who is said to have known Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next show. Autographs will have to wait until the end.
Tell me about yourself.
I doubt I have to tell you that I am the amazing singing Stefan, the only sentient severed head in Cyseal. My audience sings my praises from hill and dale. Psst. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Oh, bless the seven. Look, you've got to help me. I've been kidnapped. Pleasure to meet you. Now, please, Stefan has many fans to meet today. Psst, help me. Take me to Reginald's cellar. There I will reveal everything.
I don't know who Reginald is, but if you're ready, I'm going to pick you up now. You won't mind a little ride in my pocket, will you?
It won't be the worst indignation I've suffered. Get on with it, then.
We will have none of that, you hear?
Excuse me, but would you mind not handling that? I like to keep things as they are, if you please. Okay. So, Headless Nick. So, hey, that's what that quest is about. So, we found a book listing some tried and true jokes. Maybe we can put it to good use. And then we found about a founding. We met an enchanted severed head who asked us to take him to Reginald's cellar to talk in privacy. But obviously, we need to have things work out.
Zombie ate your dog?
Oh, you know what, hang on, actually. Before that, maybe we could tell Nick and be like, hey, man, so, like, I tried to...
Creamy blues at Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La,
Oh, there we go.
Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next show. Autographs will have to wait until the end.
There we go. Okay, so now that we tried, now we have more options. I want to pick you up, but I can't with all these watchful eyes about.
What do you call a source hunter who finds a way to draw a crowd away from where he or she would like to perform a clandestine operation? A resourceful hunter.
Get it?
Come now, it can't be that hard to find something to draw off the attention of this bleating herd.
Got it. Okay, so we have to pull the attention of the crowd away from the head so that we can get him away. So, I have an incredibly good idea. Hey, bro. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Maybe we have to, I mean, we could just... Hang on a minute. We could just ask him about himself. Maybe he would give me more options. Tell me about yourself.
Don't pity me. No, sir. Just a few years ago, I was the all-singing, all-dancing, all-sensational darling of the town. People came from far and wide just to witness my amazing act. When Reginald came, he brought some fantastic prop with him. Now, have you seen it? A talking head! Now, I never expected a silly gimmick like that to be my main competition.
Tell me about the competition between you and Reginald.
It seems even my usually choosy audience has been taken in by that hack's little gizmo. I'm a man of skill, sleight of hand, feats of wit, and pure entertainment. This curio is ruining what used to be an art. And even when there's no crowd to speak of, old Reggie still has at least one fan calling bravo and hee-haw. Sure as the sun sets, that one devotee attracts 5 more, and those 5 more all curious about the commotion. I don't know how he inspires such loyalty with less talent contained between his hat and his boots than I've in my crusty handkerchief.
Got it. Alright, warming the crowd. We met Cedric, a frustrated entertainer at the fair who told us he was desperate to attract a crowd. And we're desperate to give him one because we need to get the crowd away from the talking head. So, I have a couple of ideas, question mark? Let's see, we could talk to that guy, or we could talk to this lady, or talk to the crowd themselves.
Enjoying the fair, aren't you? Of course you are. Entertainment is Katarina's #1 export to this gloomy town.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm Katarina the Fair, fairest first lady of the fair, of course. I do love making the acquaintance of my patrons, and who knows which of them might become one of my performers. I've an open stage in want of talent, and I've often found the best young performers among the rank and file of the audience.
An open stage, you say? And what if I were interested in putting on a performance?
The theatre's fever has overcome you, has it? Marvelous! I do so love a fresh green talent ready to bloom. But I support players, not writers, you see. If you want to perform here, you'll have to find tried and true material. Check the library and see if any of the classics there interest you. I'd love to see a Source Hunters take on one of the old standards.
We already have some good things, but I'm in the middle of something. Okay, so we can put on a show, that's something. But talk about this guy first.
And who are you supposed to be?
Okay, that's not what we need. That's just about us putting on a show. Not what we need. All right, maybe talking to the crowd purposely.
What are you looking at me for? There's a great show going on right in front of you. And look, there stands the world-famous Reginald the Entertainer. Better check it out if you don't want to miss the time of your life.
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, I'm nothing but your average man taking in the best show I've ever seen. I'm amazed and astounded that for a meager gold coin or two, I can take in this first-rate entertainment all day long.
The same show all day? That seems like a bit much.
Well, I've stumbled into quite the fine gig. I'll just let my appreciation for Reggie's work be known. and he slips me a few gold coins in return. My voice happens to carry pretty far. Cyseal hears me. Cyseal wants to see what the fuss is all about. And let me tell you, this amazing show just can't be beat.
Ah, so he's paying off his crowd for sure. We met that guy, a crowd warmer, who told us the performer Reginald has paid him to enliven the show.
My word!
Yeah, see, I told you.
Fantastic!
Okay, maybe us putting on a show is the strat, or maybe we can get
what
him to
are you
not do
looking
this.
at me for? There's a great. I'm not well.
Okay, so nothing new for him. Now maybe us putting on a show, or maybe us telling this guy that hey, he's paying the crowd off, or at least one guy in the back to draw attention. You know.
A
there we
familiar
go.
face. Come, watch the show. I promise it'll take your mind off beheading baddies, or whatever it is you do with all those muscles.
Haven't you heard Reginald uses a crowd warmer?
I, a person whose sole job is to praise the performance and stir a crowd. A genius invention. No wonder Reginald has had such success. I knew his act couldn't have outshone mine on its merits alone. Please, you must hire him for me. Imagine the scowl on that conman's face when my rightful audience returns to me. A must-see event.
Okay, so maybe now we can try hiring the guy for the guy, so we can pull the crowd away, so we can grab the head and do TFO.
What are you looking at me for? There's a great show going on right in front of you. And look, there stands the world-famous Reginald the Entertainer. Better check it out if you don't want to miss the time of your life.
Would you be interested in warming up the crowd for Cedric over there?
Well, I don't see why I should. Reginald and I have grown rather friendly, you know? And in any case, it'll be hard to pull myself away from this fantastic show.
So as you can see, now we have bonuses to charm and intimidate.
Fantastic.
So we have an advantage.
The great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines.
All right, giving it a quick save before this happens.
Said and his
All right, hard shove with proper direction. I suppose a professional like yourself would have enjoyed the challenge.
Sigurd himself.
See, we do outnumber him.
My word!
So ardently did he crave creamy blues and
Oh, sad
gory
face.
reds that he ordered a contest across his realm.
Dang it. Thought I was going to get cheeky by going...
Today, I think, a king. The great Sigurd and his rainbow of war machines.
My word.
It is said
Aha,
this
take
I
that.
have heard from a ghost who knew
Yay.
Elder, who knew
Well, I guess it's been long enough since I've stretched my wings a bit. And it ain't so far of a flight now, is it? Maybe I will have a peek at what Cedric's up to over there.
Hey-o.
My word!
All right, we convinced him.
across his realm.
Yay.
My word!
All right, now he's gonna get over there. Maybe we tell the guy that this thing's happening, or maybe we wait till he's over there and then he'll call him on his own. But for now, maybe let's try telling the guy.
A familiar face.
Okay, so that's not new. So maybe let's just wait till this guy sits and then does his thing. Maybe it'll work.
Hey, it's you again! I don't have to tell you that Cedric's act will help you banish belly fat and inspire your kids to say no to drugs.
Oh man, that's quite the show. There we go. All right, we pulled the crowd away. They're all over there now. Booyah. Let's see, maybe we should talk over here first, maybe? Give it another quick save here. Just a quickie little save. Beautiful.
Come one, come all, and see
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Oh, excuse me, I'm trying to prepare for the next.
So that's that one.
Strange. You appear to be my only client. Did the whole of Cyseal eat some bad chicken, or what?
Okay. Let's see, maybe now we talk to Cedric? I don't know. I feel like isn't that other dude gonna be all pissed off when I grab the head from his little thing? Do I need to get him out of the way too? I'm not sure.
Oh, that Gallagher is quite the performer. One of my own ilk. Sometimes all the flies need is a little honey, eh? And things are certainly buzzing around here.
Okay. I mean, I guess we could just try grabbing the head now. Seeing what happens.
Show is a doozy.
We also could just kill the dude and take the head.
You there! You don't
Seems
look
aggressive.
like someone who's ever been serenaded by a severed head.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. What do you call a resourceful hunter?
Yeah, alright.
Come now, it can't be that hard. It won't be the worst.
That is enough of that now.
Right. Okay, so that's... He doesn't like that.
Strange.
Let's discuss
You
your crowd
appear to be
warmer.
Aye. These Cysealian cows wouldn't dare chew their cud without the full support of the herd. Without my crowd warmer, I can't attract a crowd for the life of me.
Let's discuss your talking head.
I think you've gotten quite familiar enough by now, thanks. Keep your paws in your pockets, if you please.
Right.
Where is everyone trotting off to?
Strange. I am Reginald the Illusionist, purveyor of them. I knew that fool could never have garnered so much as a guffaw on his own merits. I'll see to this matter immediately.
Look at that. I got him to leave, but just by I clicked on the other option I didn't click on.
Do,
Quickly.
re, mi, fa. It won't be the worst indignation.
Yes! We did it. Alright, nailed it. While he was distracted. Yes, we did. Now, where's the cellar? Okay, we're back. So apparently Reginald's house is behind the healer's house. And I think that's this one, I think. Maybe. It might be this one, so it must be one of these two. It's not labeled, which no wonder I couldn't find it. But yeah, that's what we need to go to. And yeah, obviously I had to look it up, obviously, because how am I supposed to know which one Reginald's house is? So that's the bit. With some light editing, I'll be able to cut out me wandering and trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Now, what's in there? Let's see. There's a blank one, which I guess I could grab, but I still don't know how to craft anything with those. Aha. Okay, there's Reginald's spare key. Obviously, the thing I looked up mentioned that. Obviously, otherwise I never would have known where that was. So.
What's
now,
this?
Now you know.
I found something.
Don't get too excited. I think that one, I think you open it and it explodes and kills you. Or something ridiculous. Anyway. Alright, so we got this. I just want to double check, but yeah, nothing good. Alright, so obviously there's that. Again, just double checking, make sure there's nothing crazy. We're just gonna move that old rug over there. And look, a trapdoor. Alright. And now, fake arrows, fake daggers, juggling, the diary.
Now this is valuable.
Now this is valuable. Right. Alright, seems Reginald is a fraud. He found the head on a beach and has taken advantage of it to make himself rich. Weird. So it was weird because it said like I was supposed to just take him to the sneak away. He found the head on a beach and has taken advantage of it to make himself rich. Okay, so maybe we go back and confront the guy. Maybe that's the bit. Okay, welcome back to the cellar. So I'm gonna cut out that whole thing. I ran back to the thing and I clicked on everybody. No one had anything to say. So then I opened my inventory, found out the head was in my inventory. I clicked on it and then I dropped him on the ground. And then when I tried to talk to him, he's like, "Not here," or whatever. So you have to click on the head in the cellar, I think. And so I'm gonna cut out that extra trip that I made back to the fair. So let's try this. We'll see if it works this time.
Ah, a little privacy at last. Out of earshot of that contemptible jester. We can finally speak freely. Where shall we begin?
Tell me about yourself.
My true name is Nick. In life, I was an entertainer aboard the ship of the famed Pontius Pirate. I once dared to defy him and he savagely beheaded me for the attempt. Little did I know the abuse was only beginning. A wandering sorcerer, mad as the day is long, found my severed head on the beach and resurrected me. I spent months in his company listening to him blather on about his every inane opinion. When I asked him to return my head to my body, it must be in the Black Cove still, he became enraged and tossed my head into the sea. Reginald stumbled upon me some days later and consigned me into his horrid little show. I know not how long I've been entertaining slack-jawed imbeciles at the Cyseal fair. All I know is I just can't take it anymore.
Poor severed head. You want to be reunited with your body then?
More than anything. But the chances are so slim with the Black Cove utterly infested with Pontius's undead cronies. My poor lost body is among them, sightless and silent in their vile company. For all I know, they're using it as a coat rack. Traveller, if there were any way you would brave the cove's depths and reunite me with myself, you'd be doing me the only kindness I'd have received in as long as my poor memory serves.
What do you know about Reginald?
That charlatan doesn't have a lick of his own talent, so he begs, borrows and beats it from those of us with a real vision for the stage. What I wouldn't give to give old Reggie a swift kick in the jugglers. Oh, to have legs again.
If you're ready, I'm going to pick you up now. You won't mind a little ride in my pocket, will you?
It won't be the worst.
Right. Okay, beautiful. So now we have the head once again in the inventory. Let me just double check that's true. Good. Okay, so we have Headless Nick. We took Nick's head to the cellar where he asked us to reunite him with his body in the Black Cove. So now we officially have our mission, and just kind of want to get rid of the notification in case you're wondering. But yeah, and we will be going to the Black Cove later on anyway. And so we will just add that quest to our list. But the point is now we have all the things we need. And that's what's important. So the head can just ride along in our inventory until we're at the point where that's an option. And yeah, fantastic. Okay, well, we did it. I'll cut out the extra trip I made to the fair for no reason. And beautiful. Otherwise, I think let's go back to this town square. And yeah, that'll be a great place to call it. All right, beautiful. Now, didn't I look at everyone's hoopla? Like, isn't this bow... Oh no, the bows are worse. It was the dagger that was better, but we're under-leveled for it, so... Alright, really quick. Let's sell... Let's see, that's all hers. Double check. Okay, he's holding the wrong thing. I forgot that. Alright, so sell the bow. The bow is worse. It was the dagger that was better, but we're under-leveled, and I rather would hold on to what I have for now. Beautiful. Okay, and then... Let's see. Oops, sorry, wrong thing.
Quiet
This way.
day on the market, it seems.
Alright, you, give this to Bear Daughter, please. Better. Okay. Better. Beautiful. So yeah, that'll be a fantastic place to call it. Yeah, we made good progress, though. I mean, we explored a great deal of actual Cyseal. We talked with a lot of people. We did a lot of the little quests. Yeah, we got real far. So now when we come back, as far as different things that we could do, let's get out of the square just a hair while I close this video out, just so we don't hear them all chattering. There we go. Find this nice tree. Anyway, but yeah, we did a lot of good quests. We explored a lot of the town. We did a lot of the quests. We collected a lot of the quests. You know, and there's probably things I'm missing, but I think I've hit a lot of the big stuff. So when we come back, obviously we will, I imagine what will most certainly be on the list is actually going to the murder scene and poking around there. That kicks off a whole slew of things, which of course we will see in probably the next episode. And then the other thing, of course, is that, you know, we're still tracking down suspects and all that jazz. So, you know, I imagine more pursuing the main murder will be a lot of our next episode and what's happening there. And the other thing, too, I meant to mention, obviously any big RPG fan like me knows this is par for the course. But for those of you that don't, that maybe RPGs aren't always your thing, but, you know, games like this one, like Divinity and other ones like Pillars of Eternity, things like that, the in-depth RPGs are very long, and so obviously in games like this where Divinity is a huge game, absolutely huge, especially if you take your time and you just talk and you poke around and you know, it's not, you know, this game is not for people that if you don't have the attention span for it, and I realize RPGs are not everyone's things. I happen to love RPGs a lot. It's maybe my favorite, like, gaming genre in general, possibly. I would say probably. And so that, you know, I realize it's a lot of talking to get through, and obviously we're gonna spend episodes just talking. Like, this whole episode was just us talking. And so if that type of thing is not gelling with you, I totally get that. But yeah, this playthrough is not a whole lot of just pure action. Now, there will be lots of action. There'll be lots of just battle and stuff like that. But it is an RPG, and I'm not going to blow through it, because that's not what really RPGs are all about, in my opinion. I think a lot of gaming is better if you just take your time, and I like taking my time in things. I don't like blowing through it because, you know, there's other channels that'll blow through games, and there's lots of them. So, you know, if you're not feeling it because there's too much talking and there's too much whatever dialogue, then I get that, but you're not going to enjoy this playthrough because this is going to be very, very long with lots of episodes of just looking around town and chatting and things like that. So, it's part of the experience, but I understand if it's not your thing, so I just I felt the need to warn you, because obviously this whole episode was just pure talking. And my throat is killing me, sorry. And it won't be the last time either. There'll be lots of episodes of this. Now, you know, if you're interested in the story and stuff, and if you're okay with talking, so long as the story's really good. If you're interested in a good story, let me rephrase, then I think this playthrough will be a lot of fun for you, because if you've been watching my channel, whether you're brand new or whether you've been here for a long time, this is what I do on my channel. I go through stories, and I'm quiet for cutscenes, and, you know, I pay attention to the story. That's just the kind of gamer I am, and that's what my channel's all about. So if you want to know the story, and you want to someone who's going to pay attention and not get lost and not talk over cutscenes or whatever, then this channel's for you, because don't you worry, I agree with you. I like knowing the story and having the, you know, the streamer or the YouTuber or whatever not talking over cutscenes and then later being like, so what's the story? The story makes no sense. But, like, you know, it'd make more sense if you weren't talking over the cutscenes the whole time. You know, anyway, so that's my point. I thought I would just put that disclaimer out. I probably should have put that out in episode 1. But if you're stuck around for episode 1 and you jumped into episode 2 and you stuck around for the whole thing and you got to this point, well, hopefully that will clear some things up if there was any kind of confusion. But regardless, so by the time you're seeing this, I think today should be Monday, because I'm hoping that that's when, if all goes according to plan, that's when this should be out. And it might not be early Monday, because, like, it's currently already later than I mean, this is not, I'm on my weekend, so me staying up later is fine, but I don't know if I'll be able to get this edited tonight, because I'm real tired. I'm really tired. So, but tomorrow, even if it doesn't go out at the beginning of the day, it doesn't mean it couldn't go out. You know, I could have this uploading while I was playing while I was recording Twilight Princess. So you know, so really this might not go out quite as early, because I probably will get it edited tomorrow as well. I mean, I could probably start with that, maybe first thing, or maybe when I got back, get it editing. I don't know. I have some things to do tomorrow, and I'm not totally sure how it'll work out, but I will get that uploading tomorrow, but it might not be quite as early, because I don't think I'm going to get it edited tonight. I'm just really tired, so... but regardless, by the time you're seeing it, it's Monday. Later, I mean, if it is Monday, which it should be, then I am planning on recording Twilight Princess. So if you're looking forward to the next part of that, don't you worry. I am also excited, and I am hoping to record that at the time of this going up. It'll be quote unquote today. And then later on this week, assuming this is Monday, of course it is at the end of the week. It is Christmas. I do have Christmas Day off. And so normally it's a work day for me, but of course there'll be lots of celebrating, and so I won't be recording that day, I don't imagine. But, you know, some things might get uploaded, like I might be able to record some of these in advance and maybe get some stuff up for Saturday. That's possible, we'll see. But anyway, but otherwise I don't know how much else will be interrupted. Like maybe Sunday I might be able to record like normal, and yeah, I'm not sure exactly what all the plan is, but there'll be videos coming out and whatnot, so don't you worry. I am hoping to knock this stuff out, because I've been really enjoying Twilight Princess and Divinity a great deal, so there'll be lots of this stuff coming out, so that's exciting. Anyway, that is going to call for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and we will talk to you guys later.